Hi, I'm Arkush for Pro Football Weekly, along with our senior editor, Eric Edholm. We're brought to you by Verizon Fios, and with the second round of the NFL college draft now in the books, a couple big stories. First, an early quarterback run. I don't know if you call it a run, but right there at 3 and 4, the next two best on the board come off. First, Andy Dalton goes to the Bengals. They didn't have to trade up with New England, didn't give up any extra assets to get their guy, and then the 49ers do trade up with the very next pick. All it cost them was a number 4 to get up a few picks in the second round and get Colin Kaepernick. And that really is a story because some people had these two kids with a Christian Ponder, maybe even with a Jake Locker. Good value there at the top of the second round.
Obviously, Jim Harbaugh didn't want to waste any time, saw an athletic quarterback, decided let's move on him now. The Raiders were a team that were obviously interested in possibly getting his services. And you're right about the Bengals. They seemed a little antsy. They wanted the Packers pick yesterday at 32, Patriots at 33. They were able to stay put and get the guy they wanted.
All right, now, Eric, if this doesn't work out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't know that we'll be talking about it in a year or two. But if it does, they're picking the second round. The Bucs take Daquan Bowers. We knew he was going to slide. I didn't see him sliding this far. He's too good a football player for this. But the Bucs must have something in that medical that nobody else has because everybody else was afraid of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is after taking Adrian Claiborne, who's strictly a right defensive end because of that Erb's palsy. So you've got Bowers on the left side. You've got Claiborne on the right. And they drafted their 2 defensive tackles last year with Price and McCoy. I mean, boy, Mark Dominic, if he lands this pick and he feels good about the health of this player, scary stuff down in Tampa. They could be really good.
All right, Eric, now the Washington Redskins, I'm going to call them your Washington Redskins. What are they doing in the second round? Trading. They now have 4 fifth-round picks and 3 seventh-round picks. You don't build a football team on 5th and 7th-round picks. They haven't really taken any players after Ryan Kerrigan.
When I was putting together their list of needs this offseason, the list kept going and going and going. And clearly it's the same thing with Mike Shanahan. He didn't fall in love with any of the quarterbacks in this draft. They found a pass rusher in round 1. They found a 5 technique in round 2. So they're just getting building blocks. And I think they're just thinking, boy, our roster might be okay 1 through 30, but on the back end, we need a lot of help.
All right, now, you look at this team, and at some point you can say, yes, stockpiling picks is a good thing, but how many jewels do you really find in the 5th and 7th round? And remember, this was the beginning of the end for Mike Shanahan in Denver. He piled up a few bad drafts. It was his talent evaluating that people started to wonder about.
And the thing about the Redskins, too, they haven't hit on a 5th-round pick in forever. Most of their good picks have been first-rounders. So that's one certainly contrarian way to look at it and say, they haven't hit on these picks in the past. What makes you think you're going to do it now?
All right, now Michigan linebacker Jonas Mouton to the San Diego Chargers near the bottom of the round. My man Nolan had him number 258 on his list. Nolan makes 1 mistake a year. This, of course, was it. 2 rounds, guys. 1 Michigan guy, 1 Ohio State guy. It sounds right to me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, Mouton, I have to admit, I've read that book cover to cover, and I didn't know much about him. So Chargers taking a risk on an inside linebacker, not exactly the first position that comes to mind as far as their need. They clearly like his special teams value and his tackling.
Well, and let's be clear, this is a reach. No question about it. We kid around here because I'm a Michigan alum. But when the kid was healthy, which was only early in the year, he was a big play kid. But he's got a lot to learn to play at this level. And for San Diego to go in the second round, really interesting. One of their story of the second round, it was at the beginning that the 8th Circuit in St. Louis finally ruled they've issued a temporary stay until Monday just to give the judges a chance to review all the evidence before they decide on a permanent stay of Judge Nelson's injunction until they hear the NFL owners' appeal over the injunction in general. And what we're saying is that the lockout is back in place, folks, and even when the NFL wins, they lose because now they can't have their run on free agents as soon as the draft ends.
And I think with the draft going on, Tub, in my opinion at least, it created such a negative atmosphere. You had on the one hand guys hugging the commissioner as they came up right when the lockout was announced again. And so it creates this weird awkwardness that has led to a bad PR campaign for the NFL. I don't know what your opinion of it, even if it is only a 2-3 day thing. I think they've lost in the court of public appeal in this one.
Well, they have. And listen, the courts are going to rule. I'm not a lawyer. I don't really offer an opinion on it. But I think, Eric, you make the most important point. We had almost put it behind us. Yeah. We didn't need it in a second round that was bringing back a good feel for the NFL. At least now it is over until Monday. The rest of the draft will be about the young men getting their shot in the NFL. For Pro Football Weekly and ProFootballWeekly.com, he's Eric Edholm. I'm Arkush. Check us out right here for breaking news, analysis, and the way we hear it, and follow us on Twitter as well.